Okay, how to overcome common team building objections. This is part one. In this segment, I'll cover I don't have time to do Mary Kay right now, and I'll cover I don't have the money. Those two very common objections. First of all, let's start with I don't have time, or I'm too busy. It could sound like that. Or if she's a busy wife and mom, she may give you a list. Well, I've got 50 kids in soccer and 20 at church, and my mother-in-law fell out of the back window, as our founder Mary Kay said. You just get the excuses, but you have to have those pink filters in your ears. All she's really asking is, show me how I can find the time to do something like this. Some extra money would be good for me and my family. That's what I hear when she says I don't have the time. The best way to overcome an objection, as I shared in the intro, is how to overcome it before it's ever voiced. But when it's voiced, you just get out your catcher's mitt because you're ready. She's going to throw the ball. You're going to catch it, but you're going to also throw it back. And how do you do that? In a nice and polite way. Well, you ask a question. If I could teach you how to earn some extra money just working a couple of hours a week, could you find the time? If I could teach you how to earn an extra couple $100 a week, just 2 to 3 hours a week, could you find the time? Isn't that easy? And then, this is key, you guys. This is so key. When she says yes, here's what you say. Great! Is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today? Okay, that's the most common objection. Let's move on to number 2. But before I do, let me share with you how I learned these and how I became good. First of all, I sometimes got stuck in a live interview, and she said, oh, I'm so busy, and I just kind of wanted to do this, and go, really? But then I learned the question to ask, as I just trained you. And then I really wanted to learn these questions. And great, is there any reason why I couldn't get you started today? So I created index cards. The first one says, too busy, no time. And on the back of the index card is the question I just shared with you. Let's move on to objection number 2. I don't have the money. Usually I ask, do you have access to a credit card? It's amazing to me how some people still think we start a Mary Kay business by writing a check or paying cash. You can't possibly afford to, or whatever, accept credit cards. Well, I do have a credit card, but maybe they're all maxed out. Here's a viable question. Who do you know who loves you, who would loan you the money to get started? And then you wait. Who do you know who loves you, who would loan you the money to get started? And then she says, my dad, gosh, thought I should get some extra part-time money. Great. Is there any reason why you couldn't text him right now? Or is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today? People make decisions like this in a snap, right? Okay, so the first 2 objections, if you receive them, don't fold in the middle of the game. Play it out. Pardon me. Is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today? I don't have time. I don't have the money. We'll move on to part 2. This is fun. Crazy growth, team building numbers. Crazy season of yeses. I love it. Welcome back, team building boss babes. I'm so excited to share with you the 3rd and 4th most common team building objections. Learn the questions and how to overcome these simple objections, and man, your team building is going to soar. And please don't be a chicken. Give this a try. It really works. I'm telling you, my team building exploded when I learned to master these 6 simple objections. Number 3 is, I'm not the sales type. Have you heard that one? That also might sound like, I've never sold anything before. I don't know anything about sales. Sometimes women will use the word sales in lieu of the word pushy. So I get out my pink filters in my ears and I hear her say, show me how to do this without being pushy. So that's what I ask. Sometimes I'll say, would you believe that most women in Mary Kay are not pushy salespeople? As a matter of fact, pushy salespeople don't really do well in our business. If I could teach you how to build a successful part-time business in Mary Kay without ever being pushy, would you be willing to learn? Most women say yes. And then I say, great. Is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today? Now, if you're an index card person like I am, on the back of your index card, write the question to overcome and the question that answers it all. Great. Is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today? Simple enough. Ready to memorize these? We're halfway through. Number 4. The fourth most common objection to me is, I don't know a lot of people. Isn't that crazy? If you looked at your social media accounts recently, they may just be acquaintances or Facebook friends, but you know some people. If you pick up your phone and scroll down to the bottom of your contacts, how many contacts are in your phone? Now, when someone says to me, I don't know a lot of people, that's not what I say. I'm saying that to you because I've seen people with Facebook friends galore who say, I really don't know a lot of people. I've seen people scroll down their phone. You get the idea. I don't know a lot of people. The general question to ask is simple. Do you know one person who might be a practice face for you? Most people know one person. If I could teach you how to turn that one face into all the faces you're ever going to need, would you be willing to try? Great! Is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today? Now let me share something with you as we're just over halfway there, or just past halftime, wrapping up into the final inning. Get out your catcher's mitt because the pitcher, your prospect, may throw you all of these objections. Well, I'm not really the sales type. Now, would you believe that 90% of Mary Kay women aren't the pushy sales type? If I could teach you how to do this without ever being pushy, would you be willing to learn? Then I get my catcher's mitt ready. Well, she says, I don't really know a lot of people. If I could do you know one person who might be a practice face for you? Yes. If I could teach you, you get the idea. Then she might say something like, I need to check with my husband. I'll cover that in the last segment. Okay, wrapping up the craziest team building you'll ever see in your Mary Kay history. With these 6 simple objections, I'm going to wrap it up with the last 2. The last 2 kind of go hand in hand, believe it or not, and I think you'll see why in a minute. Number 5 of 6 most common team building objections is this. I have to ask my husband, or I have to ask someone who's important to me. Here's your question. What do you think they'll say? What do you think he'll say? Some women will say, oh, he's going to kill me. And I just laugh and say, you know what? There's never been a homicide over a Mary Kay decision. Good news. No, really, what do you think he'll say? Well, he's been talking about trying to increase our income. I think he'll be supportive. And then I ask, would you like to text him? I'll wait. Y'all, I had to ask my husband only because we didn't have the extra money to get started. So I did ask. However, I'd pretty much made up my decision. I think if my team builder, my recruiter had said to me, Lisa, why don't you text him and see what he'll say? Or what do you think he'll say? I probably would have signed on the spot. If they had just asked, if my recruiter hadn't been a chicken, and I'm not saying anything about her, she's awesome and we're still great friends, but I'm her only team member. National Sales Director, Lisa Allison, I'm her only team member. When she says, yeah, okay, I'll text him real quick. As you wait, as she gets a response or as she calls him or whatever, your last question is, what? Great. Is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today? That's after every pitch, you guys, whether it's a curveball or outside or inside or, you get the idea. You've got your catcher's mitt ready. You're saying it over and over. Great. Is there any reason why we can get you started today? So let's wrap up with the final objection, and that is not now. Not now. Here's my question. In your wildest dreams, if you were to give a business like Mary Kay a try right now, what do you think you might enjoy the most? In your wildest dreams, if you were to give a Mary Kay business a try right now, since she said not now, right now, what do you think you might enjoy the most? And then you wait. And she says, well, we could use some extra money. Or, I've always wanted to have something for myself. Is there any reason why we couldn't just get you started today? I think you'd be great. Now, I say that, did you hear my softer tone? I'm not trying to jump down her throat with too much excitement. She said not now, so she's pushing away just a tad. I know that. I've got my pink filters on. She's trying to figure out how she can make this work, even if she's giving me an excuse. That's what we do as women sometimes, right? But I have those pink filters in my ears, and I'm waiting. I'm not folding. You get the idea? I'm playing the game. I've got my mitt on. I'm ready for the next objection. Should she throw it my way? I've been studying my index cards. Let me finish with a quick story. When I first earned my first pink Cadillac, my daughters were 2 and 3 years old. They're in their 20s now. 2 and 3 years old, and I remember driving. I think they were 5 and 6. We were in the car together, and I'm learning my objections. I have my index cards with the objection and then the question to overcome them on the back. And my youngest, Allison, from the back seat of the Cadillac in her car seat, said to me, "Mommy, is there any reason why we couldn't stop by Chick-fil-A and get a shake?" That's when I knew I was doing something right, because they were picking up on it, right? So let's review really quickly. The best way to overcome a team building objection is to overcome it before it's ever voiced. Doing that in your I story is the easiest way to filter those excuses away. However, when you're talking to her about joining your team and you get the objections, perhaps anyway, it's important to overcome them with a question, because an objection is simply a request for more information. Oh my gosh. You ready for your team building numbers to go crazy, to get a season of yeses? Be brave. Ask those questions. Wait for her answers. Listen to her, and always ask, "Great! Is there any reason why we couldn't get you started today?"